Howdy, I'm Jace and I'm a sex addict. Each week I come on to answer people's questions with regard to my life as an addict or a person in recovery or now somebody seeking out answers about healthy sexuality and healthy relationships and how we really interact and connect relationally and sexually with one another in society. I had a follow-up question to a past video where I talked about somebody had asked if sex addicts enjoy sex or if it's always a negative or degrading experience. And because I have experience in both and discussed both, someone said the follow-up question, why would anyone allow themselves to be degraded or to participate in degrading sexual behavior? Which I thought was a fair question. And it's something that's actually been coming up weirdly a lot lately in my life. Not degrading sex, but just this topic and this conversation in different regards. So, I think there's two different things. One is a different section where people want to participate in sexual acts that happen to be degrading, and they actively are deciding to do that. There's something enjoyable in that for them, and I think that's a whole different animal than what I'm going to be discussing today. The degrading sexual behavior that I was referring to were things that were going on to me that I was not a fan of, that I did not fancy, but I allowed them to go on anyway. And I think the question on that is, why would anybody do that? There are several reasons for that. I think the furthest back reason is that it is tied to sexual abuse that I experienced when I was younger in life. And that really shaped how I viewed myself, how I understood my worth as a person, and the behavior that I thought was acceptable. Because when you're that young and your brain is forming, you don't know any better, what you're told and what you're shown by authority figures kind of seeps in as acceptable behavior, even if, deep down I understood that something was not right there. I was a little kid. And because I'd never told anybody about it, there was never an opportunity for that cycle to break until I've gotten into my adult life and have gotten help for that trauma. So I think a lot of it was that. And with any abuse, oftentimes people will try to reenact the abuse in order to try to control it and change it in some way. Spoiler alert, that does not work, or didn't for me and hasn't for anyone I've ever spoken with. But there's just some kind of mentality that says, I'm an adult, I'm stronger, I'm capable. If I could just recreate this situation, I can change it, and then it will change the pain I felt in the past. I didn't actively know I was doing that, but through therapy and everything, now I have an understanding that some of that was going on. Part of it, and the other part goes into kind of what I mentioned, my self-worth. I spent my entire life thinking that my self-worth came from what someone could take from me as a sexual object. Not a sexual being, but a sexual object. What I could give someone. It's kind of like, I got nothing else, but do you want any of this? I can give you this. Like, is that of anything to you? And because I didn't have self-worth and I thought that I was here for the purpose of being used as a sexual object, I didn't feel I had a say in what that use entailed. So when somebody would do something, I thought that I had to go along with it. And another side of it that I'm recognizing now that I'm getting more into a place of health and sobriety and have been here for years now, is that there is a much bigger problem at play that I don't think has anything to do with addiction. It's been my experience and my observation, what I've witnessed on a larger scale, that we're not really a society that's taught boundaries or how to communicate boundaries. And we're really not a culture that teaches women how to say no, when to say no, that it's okay to say no, and that you can say yes and then say no. That you can change your mind and you can say yes to some things and no to other things. We really, at least in my generation and those before me, to my understanding, weren't really taught how to have those conversations because we just don't talk about sex in this society at all. And so we're taught to always say no. But once that's not the case anymore, then we have no understanding of what to do. And so I didn't even know how to have those conversations. I genuinely had no idea how to verbalize that type of thing. And most people I know don't know, and especially women don't even know that they can say no. I know that might light a lot of fires, but that has been the case for me and for pretty much every person I've come in contact and had a similar conversation with. I think it's a really huge problem, not just with regard to sexual acts that might be degrading, but all acts, relationally and sexually in general, where we don't know how to have these conversations because we're never taught how to do that. And then we're expected to just come into these situations and know instinctually what to do, what's okay, what's not okay, what we don't know if it's okay, and how to explore that. And, then get to a point where it's like, this is okay, this is okay. Nope, that's not okay. I changed my mind. That's no good. Very few people actively practice those types of conversations. I see that more in the alternative lifestyle community, where they are really big on boundaries and personal responsibility and respect for others. There are more resources actively available in those communities that really discuss and teach this type of communication and this type of behavior. But in the non-deviant normative society, I don't know. I don't hear those conversations happening, and I don't hear those lessons really going on either. So I think there's a lot behind why I allowed that type of behavior, and it's not just me, and it's not just addicts. We got kind of a mess going on sexually in this country, I think, and it's stemming to some pretty huge problems, not just in the bedroom. So obviously, I'm a big advocate for having these types of conversations. Please feel welcome to send in any question. You will not offend me. I might not answer it on air, or might take some time to get to it, but send them in. Like, you will not surprise me. It won't shock me. I get all sorts of things in my inbox. So I welcome your questions. You can do that through my website, suddenlycelibate.com, and you can check out my stuff on Facebook. Please subscribe through YouTube so you continue getting these videos each week. And yeah, I mean, if you feel that something in here has been helpful to you or might help someone else, please share this. I mean, this is the point, right? We got to get this conversation going. Not this one around degrading sex, but just around sex in general. It's super important that this conversation continue, I think. So please share this, subscribe, send your questions my way. And until I see you next time, stay curious.